Joe Biden pats next host. Prime Minister Modi says way beyond. Also says that the Quad Forum is here to stay after India. The United States, Australia and Japan held talks at the Quad Summit in Wilmington, Delaware. President Joe Biden said that the forum was here to stay. In an answer to a reporter's question on the future of the Quad Summit after the November 5 US elections, Biden said that it would go way beyond November before the four leaders erupted in laughter. Those visuals on your screen right now. Biden patted the shoulder of Prime Minister Modi while giving the answer to the media. India will host the next Quad Summit, which will take place in 2025. Let me go across to my colleague Rohit, who's tracking this story for us. Rohit, those are big comments coming from Joe Biden. Gives us an idea as to what we are to expect from Quad going forward. And if there was any doubt whether a change of dispensation would mean a change as far as the Quad is concerned, where all of that seems to have been dispelled.
Well, look, it's a very telling moment, as I was stating earlier. If you look at the photo of it is the president and Prime Minister Narendra, they're right next to each other, and you had the Japanese president, Prime Minister on the other side, and the Australian Prime Minister on the other sides of both these leaders, and the fact that President Biden actually felt the need to the Prime Minister Modi's around Prime Minister Modi and say this body there is kind of quite telling. We've heard from a lot of people on the ground also that India should be taking central stage in Quad. It's very crucial. The fact that now that India would be participating in the Postcard Initiative allows Quad to expand to the Indian Ocean. So it could be a passing of the baton in a way or shape or form. I mean, we do not know what November elections will bring. I mean, that was a question of journalists. But as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, as far as the President Biden is concerned, Quad is here to stay. Now, we've obviously seen that both the leaders or both the parties in America have had strong views about Quad. One has to remind people that it was under President Trump. The first Quad ministerial meeting had happened. So it looks like even if there were changes, even if there will be a change, could be a change of guard at the White House, that Quad will sustain and Quad will have the role that it has today. But if you look at the release, the press release that came out, I mean, it's very substantive. I mean, people are still reporting everything, and I think the Americans wanted to leave a legacy for President Biden, and that's why you have semiconductor, you have supply chain, you have a cancer moonshot, you have maritime equipment, weapons, and you've got maritime agreements and collaboration. You have Quad fellowship, you name it, and it's there in the official joint statement that was lead up to the Quad Summit visit. So yes, it is going to stay. It is going to be relevant. The only challenge could be if there is a change of guard, and if President Trump wins the election, we'll have to wait and watch. How he looks or works with Quad. But President Joe Biden made it very clear that it was his idea to make Quad very relevant. It was his idea to ensure that Quad becomes a very consequential alliance. And in 4 years, he's been able to deliver that. And that's what we heard from all the leaders who thanked him for making Quad the way it is right now.
Yeah. Just want to pick your brains on one thing that you pointed out over there, Rohit. The fact that it looks like, the baton is being transferred to India. The baton is being given to Prime Minister Modi as India are to host the 2025 Quad Summit. Now, going by that, could you put into perspective what it will mean for India to host something like the Quad Summit, which is watched globally?
I lost that question for it. Can you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. My question to you, Rohit, was that for a summit like Quad, which has global attention, as you pointed out, that this in many ways marks the baton being transferred from US to India. What will it mean for India to host the Quad Summit next year?
very, very important because look, there will be a new Japanese prime minister who would be coming to India next year. The new president of the United States, whoever that is, will have to make a trip to India. And I think that solidifies India's position as this emerging global power, where you'll have the next president of the United States come to India and talk about Quad. And remember, one of the important factors when we talk about Quad is China, although people do not want to explicitly talk about it. And Prime Minister, in his own comments, said that it's not against anybody. But I think, people can see through some of these things. So for India to be hosting Quad next year with the new president of the United States, whoever that is, and to be able to host it in India would send a very strong message to all the regional powers in Asia, including some of those people watching closely in Europe as well. So very important. And look, as I said, this comprehensive release of this joint statement. I mean, there's so many deliverables. There's so many new actions that would be taken into account. When India gets this next year, and there's going to be a lot of accountability also. When India hosts this visit next year, so a lot of good stuff to look forward to. And I think, Prime Minister made it very clear that he is looking forward to hosting the Quad Summit next year with the new leaders, at least two new leaders that we know of, who would be joining Prime Minister. And look, we've seen from G20, when India hosts a summit like this of this stature, India goes all in. And I think we would probably expect the Prime Minister to go all in when he hosts the Quad leaders next year in India.